Hello everyone, welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. In this one we're going to be talking about why the narcissist needs you. And as you can see, I've got my earphones in because constantly throughout the day there's always sirens and car horns. So at least with the earphones in I can think a bit more clearly instead of just constantly reacting to all of the sounds outside of me. So that's why I have my earphones in. And yeah, let's talk about why the narcissist needs you. Because it can be quite confusing. It's like on one hand, they're devaluing you, they're putting you down. It's like nothing you do is good enough for them. You're always bad, you're always crazy, you're always wrong. So what are they doing around you? Why did they target you? Why are they using you if you're not good? Why are they using something that is not good? Now the truth is, they need you, they target you to consume you. They consume you emotionally and psychologically because they depend on external validation to sustain their fragile sense of self-worth. And that's what you are able to do for them. Because unlike them, you may not be so egotistical. You're not an egomaniac. You're not so full of yourself. You're more humble. You're more modest. So you play yourself down. You play down your worth. And that, of course, leaves plenty of room, plenty of space for them to come in and to dominate you and to make it all about themselves and how wonderful they are. To where you're then giving them the attention, the admiration and affirmation that they crave so that they can feel important and maintain their self-image. And it especially means something from you because you are far superior to them. And yet many of you play it down or you just don't see it as being so important. Because maybe unlike them, in your childhood, it wasn't all about your appearance or your performance. It was more about who you are emotionally, the person underneath. But for them, their emotional needs were not fulfilled in childhood. It was all about things on the surface. The real person there was never acknowledged. It was like they never existed. So they abandoned their true selves a long time ago and created a false self in order to gain this attention, admiration, and affirmation so that they could feel important. Because that's the only way that they were ever going to feel important. If you just joined, please wait for a moment. Hopefully a moderator will come in to deal with the trolls. It's normally in the beginning that the trolls come in because that's when I first begin the video. And also I think they assume it has something to do with the YouTube algorithm. They seem to think that whatever you do in the beginning of the video impacts how many views it gets, when actually that's not true. So even if they want to try and mess up the video at the beginning, it doesn't actually impact the algorithm to determine how many views the video gets. So I can still receive an income regardless, and I can still buy food and take care of myself, even if the trolls do spam the chat. But yeah, they target you to consume your emotions, to consume you psychologically, because they depend on you for this validation so that they can feel worthy. It's self-worth and self-esteem, which they cannot sustain from within, because they have very low self-worth and self-esteem. They have to get that from you. And that's why you are their source of supply. They need you to supply them with attention, adoration, or at the very least, just affirmation, just to agree with, just to be in accordance with them, just to feel like you are on the same wavelength as them, the same frequency. That makes them feel important, and it allows them to maintain their self-image. And the reason why it's so powerful, so potent coming from you, is because normally, naturally, you wouldn't be anywhere near them. You wouldn't be validating them. You wouldn't be agreeing with anything that they say. And that's why it means so much coming from you. That's what makes it so powerful. And this is why they don't really care to get supply from their enablers or their fly monkeys. It doesn't mean anything. They will use those people to control you, but it doesn't actually mean anything for them, because those people are already on the same wavelength about it. But when they can twist you and get you to be a way that you wouldn't naturally be, then that's supply for them. And that's how they then go to devaluing you when you don't validate the illusion. Because again, they're turning you into something that you wouldn't naturally be, which is a very powerful source of supply for them. So they use you as a source of their supply. And it's at the expense of your emotional well-being. It affects you emotionally. And how do I describe this from personal experience? The way that they emotionally abuse you, it kind of feels like it's almost like the aftermath of being involved in a fight. It's like someone had their hands around your neck and maybe hit you in the stomach as well. That's how it feels to be emotionally abused, Katen. Strange. You feel like you can't breathe. Sorry about that. I went off again, same as yesterday. It's around your neck. They were strangling you, and maybe so they struggle. So they struggle to genuinely care about you or what you're going through. They just see you as a tool to fulfill their own needs. They do not see you as an individual with your own feelings or boundaries. They feel entitled to you. They feel entitled to consume you. Because when they get around you, just to be in your space, just to be near you, they feel like that means that they must be something special. Almost like it creates this perfect union. Because they're around you. They're in your presence. So automatically it puts them up on a pedestal. Just for the very fact that they have access to you. That tells them that they must be something great. Because if they weren't, then how could they get close to you? It's how they see it. And that's why when you distance yourself from them, then they start to idealize you again. But once they get close to you, then suddenly they start to feel like they're above you. And then they put you down, they start devaluing you. Because the way they see it, if they have access to anything, it can't be that great anyway. It can't have that much value. So they can just treat it however they choose to. They can consume you. And by consuming you emotionally, it allows them to maintain a sense of dominance and control in the relationship. Because they just want to dominate you. They want to overpower you. They want to feel superior to you. Because normally they don't feel superior to you. They feel inferior to you. And that's why they targeted you, because they thought they could get something out of you. But inside of the narcissist is a void. They feel empty. They just feel completely inadequate deep down. So by attaching themselves to you and your emotional energy, they can then temporarily distract themselves from this feeling of emptiness. But also will latch on to you because they fear abandonment. They fear being rejected or being left alone. They'll consume you to keep you close. They will drain you emotionally to ensure that their needs are met, which is their narcissistic supply. But also because they idealize you initially, this is why they become very possessive and controlling, to where they want to micromanage you. They want to know where you are, what you're doing, who you're with. They want to contain you because otherwise, if you get away, then they know they're going to start idealizing you. And that's really their worst nightmare, is someone who they idealize, who they also don't have access to, and who they can't control. Because then, of course, that makes them feel inferior. It makes them feel inadequate. And that's why typically they will try to come back so that they can contain you. Because by containing you, they are then containing their own feelings of inadequacy and emptiness. But it's really weird. I mean, think about it. They're using you for a purpose that a human should not be used for. Now, they're doing it because they have a disorder, because they're mentally ill. They have a serious problem. They can't regulate themselves. They can't regulate their own self-esteem. They can't feel good on their own. So they have no good feelings to bring to you. They can't make you feel better about yourself. And you can't really do anything for them. You're not meant for them, and they're not meant for you. But they come around you just to feed off you, to consume you, to consume your spirit, your soul. And it's really just out of envy. They want to be you. They want to have what you have. And they get that by getting you to attend to them, by getting you to be aware of them, to notice them, to where you're giving all of your energy and attention to them. Then they get to feel like they're more. There's no equal exchange. Or that they're consuming you. Or that they want to, because they're at such a low level of consciousness. And essentially, it's like, the way that they make you feel when they emotionally abuse you, when they trap you into the narcissistic fog. That's pretty much how they feel every day. They really feel that empty, that confused, that disoriented. And that's why they need supply. Because the supply then fuels them. It's what keeps them going. So yeah, they target you because they envy you. Because they want to consume you. They want what you have. They envy your relationships. They envy the happiness that they perceive in you. They want all of that to be theirs. And that's the only reason why they get around anyone. Other than maybe they're enablers or flying monkeys, because although those people may not have any admirable qualities, success, relationships, or happiness, they can use them like pawns on a chessboard to control you. But yeah, they feel entitled to everything that you have. They feel entitled to be you. And they even resent you for everything that you have. They resent you for your qualities, success, relationships, and happiness. They want all of that for themselves. And this is why, rather than celebrating your achievements or happiness, they will try to tear you down. They will manipulate you. They will sabotage your success. They will destroy you out of resentment, just to soothe their own feelings of inadequacy. Because they view you as this reference point. They're constantly comparing themselves to you. And this is why they have this need to diminish you. Because you shine too brightly. You demonstrate qualities that they secretly desire. They wish they had your confidence. They wish they had your kindness. They wish they had your resilience. So they will try to consume you emotionally by draining your energy and your self-worth, because they want to bring you down to their level. They feel like you are above them, like you are greater than them, and you are. You are far greater than them. And this is why they seek to diminish you. They seek compensation for their inner emptiness, because they just feel this intense sense of emptiness in comparison to you. Because they see you and you seem whole and content. Like you're not missing anything, you're not deficient in anything. You're calm, comfortable, optimistic, hopeful. And it triggers their envy. So they then try to fill this void inside of them by consuming your energy or accomplishments. Their envy is really just a defense mechanism. And it fuels their superiority complex. Because by taking from you emotionally, or by devaluing you, they are then shielding themselves from their own feelings of inferiority and masking their own insecurities. But as a result of their envy, they will try to exploit you emotionally. They will manipulate you. They will attempt to undermine, which is why you must protect yourself and maintain strong boundaries in these relationships. Because they want to have what you have. They want to be you. And they do not want you to get away with everything that you are, everything that you have. All of these gifts that God or just nature has blessed you with, they want all of that for themselves. They would much rather be you. They don't want to be themselves. And that's why they target you. They're not thinking as we do, where it's like as empaths, we want to be around other people so that we can share our love and positivity. We can encourage them. We can lift them up. We can make things better for them. And of course, we hope that they would want to reciprocate back to us so that we can build something together and so that both of us can be better. The reason why that doesn't happen with a narcissist is because they want to be you. They're not looking for reciprocation or an equal exchange. They want everything to be one-sided because they just want to be you. They envy you. And that doesn't mean that they want to be you from head to toe. At least it means that they want to possess the qualities that they admire or envy in you. And their envy stems from a deep-rooted sense of inadequacy and insecurity, to where they are then desperate to attain what they believe they lack. And, it can be very confusing because initially at the beginning, they admire you, they idolize you, they put you on a pedestal for your confidence, your talents, your kindness, your success. But then their admiration soon becomes envy because they can't celebrate you. And this is why they don't compliment you, they don't praise you. And if anything, they invalidate you, they ignore you, they dismiss everything good about you. They don't notice your light, your shine. They turn away from it, or they try to put out your light because they want those qualities for themselves. And it's crazy that they can think that way, but they do. This is how they see people. When they look at other people, when they look at you, they look at you like a snack. They're looking at you like what they just want to take for themselves. How they want your energy, your emotions. And some narcissists, there are some real lowlifes out there. They may even be looking at your clothes. They want to have your clothes. They may be, if you let them into your house, they may be looking at the things in your house. Just thinking about the things that they want to take when you're not looking. Some of them are really this bad. And from the very first meeting, they may be looking at the things that you've got, and not in a way where they're admiring you and seeing it as a part of you. They're thinking about how they can strip that away from you. And to really just envision, to visualize this, just imagine the narcissist and you're standing there and you've got a certain style about yourself, a way that you dress, certain clothes that you like to wear. Just imagine me and a narcissist. The narcissist might just take off my glasses if they could. Just take off my glasses and wear them themselves. Just take off my t-shirt and wear it. And just pretend to be me. And just smile the way that I smile, laugh the way that I laugh. And then just leave me as a shell of myself, to where I'm unrecognizable. I'm not the person that I was before. This is what narcissists are like. They will not celebrate you. They will not praise you for who you are. They will not congratulate you on anything. On your achievements. Maybe you got a promotion at work. Maybe you started a business. They will undermine you. They will compare you to other people. They will act like what you're doing isn't a big deal. While at the same time, they will use you and steal from you. And it's all because they want to be you. They want those qualities and maybe your possessions as well. They want all of that for themselves. And that's what it means to be a source of supply. Because they're not really a person. They're not a real person at all. They don't have a self. They don't have an identity. Or if they do somewhere in there, they don't really like it anyway. They'd much rather be you. And this is why they need a source of supply. Someone who they can become more like. But they have no true identity for themselves. Now, this is why you ever notice how at the beginning of the relationship, you seem to like the same things. Maybe you like the same book, you like the same movie, the same music, you like going to the same restaurants. Maybe the narcissist that you were with likes vegan food as I do. Maybe you like going to vegan restaurants. But then with time, then they stop doing it. It's really bad. I also tried going outside. Doesn't get much better out there as well. Hopefully it's okay again now. Yeah, where was I? Can't remember where I just left off. The signal's getting worse and worse. Worse. Okay, I switched off the Wi-Fi. Now I'm using my phone data. Hopefully this is better. I just want to do anything that I can to get this message through to you. Because I know so many of you are going through this, and it matters to me that you are all free and that you are all happy. And that's all that really matters to me more than anything else. But I think the signal is a bit better now. Where was I? What was I saying? Yeah, initially they seem to like everything that you like. It's like they share the same interests as you. But then suddenly they don't really care about it, or then they want to go off and engage in those things with someone else. Because really they were just there to take from you, to mimic the things that you like, to make it a part of the false self. And that's where they disappear. That's where they ghost you, or that's where they triangulate you with other people. Because they're just taking bits and pieces of you and then adding it to the false self. And then they may also use that to gain new supply. But it's not really them, it's not really what they care about. They're just a hollow shell. They're just a void inside. There's nothing really there. And of course, that's how they end up envying you and turning against you. And it's because they just want your confidence, talents, kindness, and success for themselves. Because there's nothing real about them. They're just not even real people at all. They just go around stealing from people. And then they leave people as a shell of themselves while blaming them. And acting as though you're not the person that you were at the beginning. After they've just robbed you of everything and they've tried to become you. And this is what they do every time. They do the same thing every time because they have no self, no identity. They're just empty people. All they have is a void. So the best that it gets for them is to seek out a source of supply. Seek you out for your love, your positivity, your energy and enthusiasm. And so that they can then become you. But then the interesting thing is that they become you while simultaneously devaluing you and putting you down. And it's really weird the way that they do it, but this is what they do every time. And I'm sure you can all relate to this. I mean, this is what they all do. They are the types of people who they might say that they dislike something about you. They might bully you about it. They might say that it's such a problem, and yet they will take that and use it to attract their next source of supply. The very thing that they were devaluing you about. They're really that crazy. Because the problem isn't your qualities. It's not that they don't like you or that they don't like what you have. It's more that they just don't like that you have it. Because to them, everything is just, it's all just things. And I know it's a horrible live chat. Unfortunately, there's no moderator in here. So all the trolls are coming in here for supply. But yeah. They follow the same process every time. They just want to become you. Just what you have, the way that you're able to create and generate things for yourself. Just your natural confidence. Because you're a talented, kind, successful person. And they want all of that for themselves. They just want to drain it all out of you. So that they can become a person. Or at least so that they can display to people that they are someone. When really they're nothing. There's just nothing there. It's just a void. And this is why they will stalk you. They will watch you. They'll always be watching you because they know what's going to happen is that once they've drained the life out of you, once they've taken everything you've got, once they've drained your confidence out of you, your talents, your qualities and abilities, once they've taken all of this, they know you're not going to give up because you're a genuine person. You're able to build things. So they know if they just wait a certain amount of time, what's going to happen is that you're going to rebuild your confidence. You're going to rebuild your qualities and abilities. You're going to become successful again. Oh, people are saying the volume is low now. I'm not sure what happened there. Let me try again. Sorry about all of these technical difficulties. I'm trying to make it the best that I can. Okay, I have to leave this in one gear. But yeah, right, what were I saying again now? Yeah, they have to drain your qualities, your abilities, your talents, your kindness, your personality, just everything good about you. They have to drain it out of you and make it a part of them because they're empty. All they have is a void. So they have to drain it out of you and make it a part of themselves. But the reason why they hold on to you, the reason why they're always just lurking in the shadows somewhere, ready to pop up again, the reason why they're stalking you, monitoring you, is because they know that since you have a genuine, real self, you can regenerate, you can rebuild, you can come back, maybe better than before. So then they know that all they have to do is wait a little while, and then you'll have more value to bring to them. You will have developed new qualities, new abilities, new talents. You'll have more kindness, more empathy, which they can then drain out of you again. And that's why they're always there. That's why they're always just waiting around for you. Because they just want to keep leeching off you as much as they can and then give you a bit of time to recover just so that they can come back and leech it off you again. Because of course, I mean, there's only so much of ourselves that we have to give. But then once we have some time to rest, we can then recover. We can then rebuild. Once they've broken us down, we can heal again. And that's what they wait for. And it's kind of like, they always want the latest update, the latest version. Whatever is the newest model out, that's what they want. So they're just waiting for you to rebuild, to create something new so that they can have that. And that's all that they're trying to do, is just constantly deplete you. Just deplete you of your emotional energy. And this is how you will notice that just by, because they deplete you emotionally, they slow you down so that you no longer have that natural life force, that energy inside of you that keeps you going. That's meant to just sustain yourself, because you have a self. And this self is powered from within. But they don't have a self, they don't have an identity. It has to be powered by a source of supply, because all they have is a void. So you will notice that when you move around and you just focus on your breathing, and even just maybe you were focused on a certain task in the moment, you were reading a book, you were watching TV, you were focused on a certain activity, and then the narcissist comes in and they distract you, they disturb you, they get all of your energy on them, they just start an argument out of nowhere. What they're doing by doing that is they're then depleting your emotional energy to sustain their false self. And this is why you will notice that you just have to move around, you just have to change activities, do different things, go to different places. And then it makes it more and more difficult for them to drain you. But also, I mean, they may assign a label or many different labels to what happens when they deplete you. They may even see it as though you have multiple personalities, because they lack self-awareness. They don't understand really what they're doing to you or why they need to do it. They just know that maybe they feel better after they do that to you. But the reality is that really it's just you being depleted. It's kind of like if you imagine you didn't have any sleep for a few days, or you didn't have anything to eat, you didn't have your basic needs being met. You would just become less and less like yourself. I mean, I don't think many people would say, if you didn't have any sleep for a few days, even a week, you wouldn't say that that's really you. Kind of like when people drink alcohol. Like, it's not really the real you. And that's what it's like when we're around these narcissists. When they emotionally deplete us, we're not the real us. And I did a video about that several years ago. You can't be yourself around a narcissist, because they want to be you. So how can you be you when they want to be you? You can't, because they're just constantly depleting and draining you. But then that's the irony of it, is that because they lack self-awareness and they lack empathy, they will also blame and shame you for not being you, even though they're the reason why you can't be you, because they're consuming you. So that's why they will mirror and consume you. and they will mimic the traits that they admire in you because they want to appear more likable and successful, just as you do. But really, for us, I mean, it's not so much that people like us. It's more that they just like what we have, and they want that for themselves. They envy us. And that's what you may find with a lot of people, is that they just want to take from you. So this is why early on the narcissist appears very charming or charismatic. They're just reflecting the best parts of you. They're mirroring you because they know that's what you're like. So of course, since they know that's what you're like, they know it's going to get your attention on them. And it's really just that they're trying to steal your identity because they haven't got one of their own. And this is why you can never really just sit down and talk to them. They can't expand on anything because there is nothing there. They just become a mirror image of you. And if they can't have your qualities, then they will just sabotage you. They will diminish you. They will tear you down emotionally because then it makes them feel superior. It relieves their feelings of envy. So if they can take your qualities, if they can mirror you and mimic your qualities, then they will just do that. But if they can't do that, then they will tear you down emotionally. So then at least it makes them feel superior. It relieves those feelings of envy. But this is all envy. It's all just them wanting to be you. And don't listen to what they say when they're tearing you down emotionally, when they're devaluing you. They will make you think that it's something wrong with you. But no. They just want to be you. That's what this comes down to. And that's why they tear you down. The narcissist has a very fragile ego. Their sense of self was built on a shaky foundation. So when they see someone who's more authentic, more capable, or more content, it triggers their shame. It makes them wish that they could have your qualities. And also because they have an inability to self-generate. They cannot generate anything from within. They cannot develop their own identity or self-worth internally. So they consume you. They latch onto your energy, success, and even your personality traits to fill their own emptiness. So they need you because they want to be you. And because they are extremely insecure, especially around you. This is what prevents them from appreciating you in a healthy way. And that's why they just can't compliment you. They just can't even acknowledge you, that you even exist. Instead, they just try to possess you, own you, mirror you, or just destroy you because they envy you. And it just leaves you feeling drained and disoriented. Because all they can do is consume you because they envy you. And it's just a horrible experience. It's draining, confusing, soul-crushing. And it leaves you questioning your own reality and sense of self. To where you don't even know what's happening, you don't even know who you are. Because you're being consumed, you're being robbed of who you are. Because they want to be you. They want to have yourself. They don't want to be themselves, especially not after they've seen you. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of something I read in a Top Gear article. It's kind of like the Aston Martin DB9. It's an amazing car. But I remember Jeremy Clarkson, he said something in an article like, he said, yeah, it's a good car to have, Aston Martin DB9, great British car. But then you imagine you're pulling up at the lights, and then someone next to you has the Aston Martin DBS. This is how it is with a narcissist. I mean, but with a narcissist, I mean, they're not even an Aston Martin DB9. I mean, I don't even know what they are, but they're really just nothing. And once they see you, they just want to latch on to you. They just want to take from you. They want to own you. They want to possess you. They want to consume you. And they just want to switch it around on you. They want to be on the other end of it. They want to put you in a position where you are giving attention, validation, and your emotional energy to them when it should be the other way around. When they should be the ones validating you. But they put you in a position where it's like, now you're the underdog, and they're the ones who are above you. And you're just validating something. And it's like, hold on, you were better than them before. And now they've got you admiring them after they've taken from you. They've stripped you of you. So it's just insanity. It's just a delusion. Because you were better than them to begin with. But this is what it's like when you're around them. And yeah, they will just keep demanding your attention, validation, and emotional energy, which will always leave you feeling depleted. But no matter how much you give to them, it will never be enough. Nothing will fill that void. Because they wanted to be something in their childhood. They wanted to be good enough for their parents, and who knows, maybe they were abused, they were neglected. Maybe their parent thought another child was better than them. Maybe their parents compared them to another child. And so now everything's just about their ego. It's just about what's on the outside, superficial. There's no love, there's no connection. And no matter what you do for them, no matter what you give to them, it's never enough for them. It's never enough where they feel like, all right, they're powerful, they've got status, everyone's attention is on them. It's never like that for them. They'll never consistently sustain that feeling of being something, of being someone. And you will experience a loss of identity. They will erode your sense of self. They will always dominate the conversation. They will dismiss your needs. They will criticize you. And gradually you'll just feel like you're losing who you are. Because all of your energy is constantly on them. To where you just experience confusion, self-doubt. Because they're constantly manipulating you, gaslighting you, making you question your perceptions, your memories, your worth, to where you're just constantly walking on eggshells. You don't even know what's real anymore. You don't know how to please them. You don't know how to make them happy. It's just this constant emotional roller coaster, where 1 minute they're idealizing you, the next they're devaluing you. One minute you feel adored and needed, the next you're just discarded and you're nothing. So you just feel really unsteady. There's no stability. And yet at the same time, they just can't get enough of you. They can't get enough of how you make them feel, of how they get to feel like they're like you. So they just want to cut you off from everyone. They don't want you to have any friends, family, or support system. And sometimes they set up like these little networks. It's kind of like similar to almost like people trafficking or like a paedophile ring, where they get a bunch of other pervs, a bunch of other predators to surround you, and they all just kind of leech off you and want to beg you. That's something they do sometimes as well in a smear campaign. And it's all just to gain more control, to leave you feeling lonely and dependent on them. And for you, it will just overload your empathy. If you're a compassionate person, it will just make you feel bad for them and want to save them or fix them. Because they're just constantly seeking validation from you. You just become their caretaker. They drain you emotionally. And they don't have any empathy for you. And also other people in their network, other people in their little ring, they're not going to feel bad for you either, because unlike with physical harm where you've actually got real physical bruises, the emotional and psychological damage that this has on your heart, your brain, this real trauma, cannot actually be seen. So they don't see it in the same way, even though it's actually far more damaging. I mean, honestly, you would be better off if you broke your leg or your arm, rather than to suffer this emotional and psychological damage from the narcissist. That's how damaging it is. Because at least if you break a leg, it can heal. But this, the psychological impact, this can last for life. And many people never heal. So these are real hardcore abusers that we're talking about. And really, they're murderers. They murder your soul. They murder your identity. They murder everything that you were, everything that you could have been. They are murderers. And they rape you as well. Mentally, psychologically, they rape you. And because this abuse is invisible, and the damage, unless you have like an MRI or a brain scan, it can't be seen by other people. It just leaves you feeling invisible while you're being abused. It just leaves you feeling like something is wrong with you. So it's just further abuse, further gaslighting, and they just pile it on. And I think that's often why they just like to go and run and just tell as many people as they can and just label you crazy, because they kind of get a kick out of it in some ways, because they have a void inside, and it's like no matter what anyone does, it's never enough. It never satisfies them. It just becomes like, for them, it's just like, what's the worst thing they can do? What's the most extreme thing they can do to you? Like, how many people can they turn against you? It becomes like a game. Like what we see in schools, where it's like, first of all, it's like one or two kids bullying one child. And then suddenly it's like the whole school is against them. They just want to see how extreme can they make it. And also, especially if they're getting away with it. Because the more extreme it is, the more it can help to regulate them and make them feel better. And also, it becomes normalized over time. So Initially, they may have done it for them if they just called you a name or something, but then gradually it escalates into something physical, and then after physical, it typically becomes more sexual. It can get into rape, and it just gets worse and worse. And this is all coming from their envy. It's because they wanted to be you, but then they couldn't be you, so then they just wanted to destroy you. And this is like how we see in rape and murder cases. It's like these people just feel so empty inside, and then they go and rape someone, and then they also murder that person as well. They just do anything to try and make themselves feel better. But no matter what they do, no matter how extreme it is, it's never enough. It just leaves them feeling worse afterwards. While as for you, you feel like they've taken something from you. They've stolen your energy, your confidence, and your trust in other people. They've drained your soul. They've left you feeling empty. And that's how you may feel. You may feel that they've taken the best part of you, to where you do just feel empty inside. It's like they've traded personalities with you, because that's how they felt. How you feel afterwards, after dealing with them, that's how they felt before they got involved with you. And then they make you feel that way. Only actually, I would imagine that it still feels far worse for them. You're never going to feel as low as they do. And that's why you're never going to do the things that they do. You're never going to want to drain the soul out of someone. You're never going to want to treat someone the way that they've treated you. You're never going to want to do that. You're never going to feel as low, as empty as they do. And I bet they know that. They know you're never going to be anything like them. And that's typically why they keep coming back. To maybe see if they can make you like that. If they can ruin you to the point where you just want to go and see someone else going through it. Because that's what happened to them. But this is why we have this community. This is why we have this support. So that none of us ever become like these people. We're going to keep building each other up. Whoever they've got, whoever they're dealing with, clearly isn't doing anything for them. They're clearly not building each other up. They're not making each other feel better. Because if they were, they wouldn't need to do that to you. They do it because they've got no one, they've got nothing. They can have a bunch of other people around them, it doesn't matter. Or they're enablers and flying monkeys, they've still got no one. They've still got nothing. There's nobody there. Because if there was someone there, they wouldn't make you feel that way. They wouldn't be doing those things to you. And that's how you know they got nothing. So after they hurt you, after they cause you all of this pain, they deplete you of your energy, your confidence. I mean, even then, that still doesn't satisfy them. So they will still try and make you feel jealous. They will try and make you feel like you're missing out on something. As though they're so much happier now in this new situation. It's all fake. They're just doing that to try and get more supply out of you because they know you're resilient. They know you're going to come back. And that's why they wait around. They just keep waiting for you to come back again and again. Because they know that no matter what, they're never going to be satisfied. They're only ever going to experience temporary satisfaction or relief. And that's all they get. It's this temporary validation. After consuming your attention, admiration or energy. Just a short-lived boost to their ego. They feel important, powerful or superior initially, which are feelings that they constantly crave. But then shortly afterwards, they will begin to feel restless and unsatisfied because they have a black hole inside of them, a deep sense of inadequacy and emptiness that no amount of external validation will ever fill. So once that high wears off, they will return to feeling unfulfilled and even more resentful. Now that's why you don't want to be there once they're finished with the new supply, because when they come back in to hoover you, it's worse than the last time. It will get much worse because it just leaves them feeling even more unfulfilled than before. So they will remain trapped in the cycle of their own behavior. They will continue to be driven by this insatiable need for validation, but they will never really process or appreciate what they get from you. And that is ultimately what keeps them locked in this repetitive self-destructive pattern where they just use and discard people. Now it's good to see that the signal has been much better now since I disconnected from the Wi-Fi and I went on to my own data instead. To be honest, one of the main reasons why I came into this condo was because it had Wi-Fi. Now, unfortunately, I'm having to spend extra just to use my data as well. But fortunately, my AdSense is back up, so I am earning ad revenue from this. And that does motivate me to keep going, to keep making these videos for you. And of course, it has been quite distracting with all of the chaos around me. All of the horns outside, all of the sirens. Believe it or not, but before I checked in here, I was actually told that this is a very quiet area. But this is actually one of the, if not the busiest streets in this country. Let me move over here because the signal went off again. It looks like it doesn't matter if I'm using the Wi-Fi or even my own data. Just whatever happens, the signal can still disconnect. And even if I go outside as well. It's very strange, but there has been a lot of issues here. Actually, just the other day, I woke up in the morning and somehow all of the power was off. It's really weird because this is a condominium about 45 floors, and I looked at on the Wi-Fi. I could see that all of the other Wi-Fi networks were still connected, and it was just this apartment out of the hundreds of apartments here that had no power. I was just so confused because I woke up in the morning and the air conditioning was off. And all of the signal issues as well. But I'm going to keep trying, and if this phone network doesn't get any better, then maybe I will change to a different phone network. Because my main focus is just to make the best videos that I can for my audience. And yeah, so I hope this video has been good for you. I hope that it has helped you to understand why the narcissist needs you. It's because they have no identity, they have no self. Just an full of energy, power, enthusiasm. We are a complete person. You have no means just to on them for everything, so that your attention is constantly on them. Disconnected again. Sorry about that. But I'm glad, I've been able to be cutting off. Right, where was I? It's hard to think with all these horns and sirens everywhere. I must hear about maybe 200 sirens a day at this point. But they have no identity, they have no self. Most people in this world have no self. And they just want you to give yourself to them because they envy you for that. They want to have your qualities, they want to have your enthusiasm, they have happiness and confidence. They want to take that from you. And if they can't take it, they will just destroy you. Because then at least if they destroy that in you, then there's nothing for them to feel envious of anymore. So that's why they need you to either use or destroy you. They will use you if they can. They will take from you if they can. If they can't, then they'll just destroy it. Because they have an arrested emotional development. They have no true self. It's essentially the same thing as two kids playing with a toy. One child envies the toy, they want it, the toy that belongs to the other child. And if they can't take it, they might just break it, just destroy it. So then no one can have it, and then it relieves their feelings of envy. So these are people who are just stuck with a child's mind, from the inside. And they feel neglected, like no one cares about them, no one wants them, no one would ever want to see the real them. So then it's all just about their ego, it's all about the outside, what's on the surface. So that's it for this video, and I hope you found it helpful. And that's maybe just about as much as I can get out of my voice for today. But I hope it helped you, and if it did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe. Click on notifications so that you'll be notified when I go live again. If you'd like to book a one-on-one coaching session, just go to my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. If you'd like to donate, just go to my PayPal. It is paypal.me/narcsurvivor. And you can follow me on Instagram.